In this example, we're going to introduce the concept of layers. So what I'm going to do is I want to insert one of my photos. Alright, here's one of my standard photos that I like to use, and I'm going to lock that photo in place and start designing on it. So now I'm going to open up my layers box, which is over here on the right side. I'll just click on my layers box and stick it by clicking on that push pin. Notice the default layer is layer 1. And in this case, I'm just going to highlight layer 1. That's the layer I'm working on. And if I click on this icon, this middle icon at the bottom, I can rename this layer. So I'm going to rename this the photo layer. And I want to introduce some options to the customer. So in this particular case, I want to add a second layer. To do that, at the bottom of my layers box is the left icon where I can add a layer. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to click on that icon and add a layer. And notice at the top I am now on layer 2. So I want to rename that layer. And I'll click on the middle icon in the bottom of the layers box. And layer 2 I'm going to call my horizontal blind layer because that's what I want to add. There. Now, horizontal blinds, which is my layer 2, is highlighted. So that's the layer that I'm about to work on. And what I want to do is I'm going to come into my hard treatments over here in my design library. And I'll click on my hard treatments, and I'm going to click on horizontal blinds. And my browser window has opened up. Now in this case, I'm going to click on that second horizontal blind here in the top row. Okay, and you can see my browser shows a close-up of that horizontal blind. Notice that I do have my 4 gold buttons here, and if I click on the 4 gold buttons in my browser, I will see some other options. So you have your horizontal blinds, and you've got the same blind but in a shortened version. Plus you have your perspectives, and it's this shortened version that I want to drag onto my canvas. And I'll close my browser window and start designing. I'm going to zoom in, and I want to add some texture to that wood blind. But let me zoom in a little bit more. And I'm going to resize this wood blind. I'm resizing proportionately by keeping my finger on the control key as I pull down on that corner handle. Alright, so I am currently on my normal default mode, which is that black arrow here in my top toolbar. But I want to switch to my third arrow. And remember, you switch arrows, click away. Then come in and select what you want to work on. And now I'm going to go down to my swatch library, and I'm going to click on my textures tab, and I want to fill this, I think, with the maple wood, and I'll hit apply. Okay, now I think I'm going to scroll over a little bit more because I want to grab that little piece down here and hit apply. There. Alright. I can close my browser window. Now there's only that white little wand here. Now that is normally a little bit translucent, and I'll just finish that off by clicking on the little wand here. And if I go to my properties box, I'll click on my properties box, and it's down here because I have both now, my layers box open and my properties box. I want to change my slider bar down here in my properties box and make it a little bit more translucent. And there you can see slightly through it, and actually that looks pretty realistic. So I'm done with my properties box. I'm going to again click on the push pin and get that out of the way because I don't need it anymore. Now I'm actually done with my second layer here, and I want to introduce a third layer, but first, before I do that, I want to go back to my normal design mode, which is the black arrow. Okay, and I click away. Now I do want to introduce that third layer, so I will go down to my bottom of the layers box and add a new layer by clicking on that left icon. And as you can see, I'm on layer 3. Now what I want to add to layer 3 is actually a cornice. So I want to rename layer 3 by clicking on this center icon at the bottom of the layers box. And I'm just going to call this a cornice. Now my layer 3, the cornice layer, is highlighted. So that means I am now going to work on layer 3. For my third layer, I'm going to go back into the design library and I want to pull out a simple cornice. So I'm going to click on cornices, which is within my full designs with breakouts. And I think I'll pick out this one here. And again, if you click on the 4 gold buttons in your preview window, you'll be able to see how that cornice can be designed using the various components. But in this case, I want to bring in the full design. So I'll just drag that right onto my canvas, close my browser window, and I'm just going to resize this. Again, I am going to resize proportionately by keeping the Control key depressed as I pull on one of the corner handles. There. And I can quickly fill this design with a texture or a fabric. And in this case, before I fill, I want to change arrows. I want to go up to my second arrow and always click away after you change arrows. Now, in our textures library, down here under the swatch library, if you scroll down, we do have some leather textures. So I'm going to click on the leather category, and I want to fill that cornice piece, and there's like a little edge piece that I also want to fill with this leather texture. Oop, there. Let me grab that cornice, and then I'll click away and come in, and there, I grab that edge, and I will also fill that with my leather texture. And then to fill that swag, I will just click on the swag and I'll grab a color. So I'm going to click on my properties bar and stick it. Then I will grab my eyedropper down here, and I think I'll just want to pick up a darker brown in that cornice. There. Okay. Now I'm done with my properties box, so I will click on the push pin again, and I'm ready to resume. So I'm going to go back to my normal black arrow and click away. So using the layers, you can present various options to the customer. Now in the layers box over here on the right, notice that our cornice layer is highlighted, and if you notice there is this eyeball, you can literally shut the eye, click on that eye, and that cornice will disappear. So you can show the options with the blinds. If I click on my horizontal blinds layer, that becomes highlighted, and I can also remove that option by closing the eye. And I can come back and click on my cornice option and open the eye. And as you can see, you can easily show the customer various options. I'm going to reveal those blinds again. So you can create a layer for your fabrication instructions and also a layer for your installation instructions. And you can create a layer for sensitive information such as pricing. And remember, always make sure to select the layer that you're working on.